So this morning we're going to look at the melancholic person. And the melancholic person makes up about 40 to 45% of the population. So there's a good chance close to half of you in here might be melancholy. There's famous melancholics like Mother Teresa, George Washington, Morgan Freeman, Batman, and Yoda. The last two aren't really real people, but I thought I'd throw it in there. Their deepest emotional need is for responsibility, stability, order, and tradition. One of their mottos is there's a place for everything, and everything has a place. So what are their strengths? They're the richest of all the temperaments. They're the servants of society. They're sensitive. They are motivated to reflective thinking through their emotions. They're creative. They're creative thinkers. They appreciate the arts. In fact, many of them are already artists. They're musicians. They're painters because they're in touch with all of those things that go into creating art. They're also responsible. As I mentioned, they're the Boy Scouts of society. Their greatest meaning in life is for them personal sacrifice, to be able to help someone out at the expense of themselves. There's a streak of perfectionism that drives them to do things right and proper. Murphy's Law, if it can go wrong, it will. It was probably written by an SJ, a melancholic person. If you know of a woman, a female, who is an SJ, a melancholic person, their purse is probably like 3 feet by 5 feet, and they have everything in there. They are prepared. Need a Band-Aid? They got it. Need a cordless drill? They've got it. You know, anything in there, they've got. Hand sanitizer, soap, whatever. They are self-sacrificing. They're the ones who want to give of themselves. The person who said, "I regret that I have only one life to give my country," was probably a melancholic person. They choose occupations that involve great sacrifice. They also kind of come off as being parental, wanting to give advice and treat people like their children. If you think of the Apostle John in his writings, especially in 1 John, he talks about little children, my little children. He was a melancholic. He was one who used that and displayed that. They add structure to our society because they want structure. They are faithful. If you are a friend of theirs, they will be there for you. They don't make friends easily, but when they do, they're not pushy. They like behind-the-scenes work. If you're throwing a party and you have some melancholic people there, they're the ones who come into the kitchen while the party's going, and they say, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can do for you? Because they just can't stand around. If you're a parent, your tendency is to control if you're a melancholic. And we're going to look at what that produces during the week if you want to tune in later. They're also conservers. They're the people who want to put something away for the rainy day. Always be prepared, another motto of the melancholic person. They also love groups. They create and sustain these social groups where they can be a part of something because they hunger to contribute. And yet their contributions from yesterday aren't good enough, so they want to do better. They want to be a part of something, so belonging is important. If you show up to a group meeting, a large meeting, like a Rotary meeting or another big meeting of people, there's probably a lot of extrovert, melancholic people there. Status is important. They loathe freeloaders. They love titles and degrees and pecking order, which means they're drawn to jobs with bureaucracy because they know, okay, this is what I do to get here, and this is what I do to get here, and this is what I do to get here. They love the pat on the back, but they'll say, "Oh, it was nothing. But then, give me some more. No, that's okay. Oh, give me some more. No, I'm okay. They love to be servants of society. They love to achieve and climb the ladder. Now, there are also some weaknesses and some pitfalls. And if this temperament is not tempered by Christ and His Word, some of these things can show out. One, they can be self-centered. They have a sensitive nature, And if they give and they give and they give and they don't get recognized by it, they're going to be offended, they're going to be insulted, they're going to be disappointed, and ultimately all that can lead to bitterness. They need encouragement, but they won't tell you. So it's really hard to get a beat on what we need to do with them. They have a sense of duty, but they say in their hearts and their minds, boy, it sure would be nice to be noticed by this. They're self-examining to the point of paralyzation. They cannot make a decision because they keep analyzing and analyzing. They also are pessimistic. Progress and improvement come through control. They would say, oh, I hate all this red tape. But I'll tell you a secret. They're the ones who created all the red tape because they want that structure and they want that order. And the problems outweigh the benefits, which causes them to become indecisive and fearful because they're trying to come up with the perfect solution and they think that they've come up with it, and then they look and they go, oh, I got this problem. And so when they do that, they become indecisive and fearful. They're critical, not only of other people, but of themselves. They're actually the temperament that calls off the most weddings. So, Chris said, don't try to marry a melancholic person. They're also moody, kind of like Eeyore. They're gloomy and they're depressed. They have their ups and downs. And because of their drive, if you offend them, they have the tremendous capacity for revenge. Spiritually speaking, how do we reach a melancholic person? How do we talk with them? How do we interact? There are some things that they need to work on. They need to work on getting their eyes off themselves. It's also the fact that if you do something to them, it's hard for them to forgive you. They harbor hatred and animosity. And because of their critical nature and their self-centeredness, sometimes they could even become extremely prejudiced. Now, if you have a child who's a melancholic person, you're going to see them organizing everyone. They're going to be the ones like, okay, let's do this, this, and this, and this. You notice that they switch moods really quick. 1 minute they're happy, the next minute they're sad, and it goes back and forth. They're the ones that throw temper tantrums. They don't get what they want, they're going to throw a temper tantrum. And they're going to do it in proportion to how bad they want the item and how public the forum is. And because they want to embarrass you into caving in. Never, never, ever give in. Never give in, because if you do, what's going to happen? They're smart enough, they're going to go, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. So the next time I want something, I'm just going to do this again and I'll get it. The other thing is never try to embarrass them as much as they're embarrassing you. That will backfire because they will go up a notch. Never try to get in the last word because they will continue to do that as well. They struggle with self-esteem. If your child comes home and says, oh, I got a B+, and you said, oh, you could have done better, you could have gotten an A, that's going to deflate them. They're already playing that through in their minds. So as a parent, you do not want to crush their spirit. They often put themselves down. They're the smartest, but also they feel inferior. And so what do? They create and strive for these unattainable goals. They go to gym class, and the goal is to get 100 push-ups in like 10 minutes or something. And they'll go, I'm going to get 5,000 push-ups in 10 minutes. They set these outrageous goals that they can never match. They're rarely average people. They either excel or their weaknesses destroy them. They also have a tendency to blame others. And so it's not their fault, it is someone else's fault. And so they grow up to be gloomy, pessimistic people.